समुद्रमध्य संगस्तं तत्रापि दहनं गगनं विशोकस्तस्मिन् यदन्तस्तुपासितव्यम् यो वेदादोऽसर प्रोक्तो वेदान्ते च प्रतिष्ठितः तस्य प्रकृतिलीनस्य यः परः स महेश्वरः न तत्र सूर्यो भाति न चन्द्रतारकम् यो वेदादोऽसरो भाति कुतोऽयमग्निः त्वमेव भान्तमनुभाति सर्वम् तस्य भासा सर्वमिदं विभाति। श्री सद्गुरुनाथ महाराज की जय।
Hari Om Swamiji. This Yajna has been made possible with the support of some of our Yajmans. I would like to introduce some of them to you so that they get their due share of the Yajman spirit. So first of all, I would like to introduce Indu Sachdeva ji. इंदु जी, आप अपने आप को अनम्यूट करके स्वामी जी से हरिओम कर लें। आप अनम्यूट नहीं हुए इंदु जी।
बैठ जाना 2 मिनट।
हाँ, आप हरिओम कह लीजिए इंदु जी। चलिए, थैंक यू। नेक्स्ट इज मीनाक्षी जी।
हरि ओम स्वामी जी।
हरि ओम।
हरि ओम।
हरि ओम।
नेक्स्ट इज रेनू एंड अजय खन्ना जी।
हरि ओम स्वामी। हरि ओम।
We have another Yajman, Mrs. Sharda Sarna ji, but she does not seem to have joined us. So Swami ji, I'll hand over the mic rather to Amitabh ji, who will do the honors by introducing you, even though introduction is not really required. Amitabh ji, Hari Om.
Hari Om Swami ji. It is my honor and pleasure to welcome on behalf of Chinmaya Mission Gurudham, Swami Prakashananda ji, Acharya Chinmaya Mission at the Center for World Understanding. Though all of us are familiar with Swamiji, yet I would like to speak a few words for the benefit of new devotees. Swami Prakashananda ji, an alumni of Sandeepni Sandhalane, Powai, Mumbai, has an illustrious record of service to the Chinmaya Mission. In May 2016, Swamiji was posted to Chinmaya Center for World Understanding at Lodi Road, Delhi Center. In true missionary zeal, he crisscrossed the NCR, met devotees, and took the power of satsang to their home turf. Today, Swamiji is a familiar face and well known in the Delhi NCR region. Over the last year, when the pandemic swept the world and people did not know which way to turn, Swamiji's daily messages on WhatsApp groups, talks on YouTube, and pujas viewed on Facebook acted as a balm, soothed people, and relieved stress. Swamiji's talks on various texts like Tattva Bodh, Sadhana Panchakam, Bhaj Govindam, Bhagavad Gita are available on YouTube. Chanting of various stotrams in Swamiji's melodious voice is also available on YouTube channel. Most recently, Swamiji anchored a program, Heart to Heart, a series of interviews with close devotees of Puja Gurudev from the Delhi NCR region. This was aired on the Chinmaya channel, and it brought Gurudev and his messages to people's homes and hearts. The program was much liked and brought out several facets of Gurudev, which were new for the devotees of the mission. Pre-pandemic, Swamiji has conducted many a workshop for varied sections of society, like Duties Workshop for officials in Dasna jail, Journey to Inner Self, 10-week Bhagavad Gita-based program for doctors of Max Hospital, Relevance of Bhagavad Gita in Day-to-Day Life, seminar for senior managerial staff of Aditya Birla Group, Message of Scriptures to Improve Faith and Efficiency, seminar at Modi University Premier Girls School, Lakshmangarh near Jaipur, talks on stress and anger management for doctors at the Pediatric Conference of North India, series of talks on topics like mental hygiene, life management skills, and magic of love at IIT Delhi. Swami Prakashananda conducts regular Vedanta classes and discourses with equal ease on the Upanishads, Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, Sri Ramcharitamanas, and other spiritual texts. A dynamic spiritual guide with command over Hindi, English, Marathi, and Sanskrit, Swami Prakashananda has a simple style and a practical approach to life. His explanations, adorned with examples from day-to-day living, make even difficult subjects interesting, appealing, and easy for all ages to understand. His easy manner and open demeanor has endeared him to spiritual seekers in the camp. Prior to being posted in Delhi, Swami Prakashananda ji served at Madgaon from 2004 to 2016. Some highlights of Swamiji's tenure there are: conducted Vedanta sessions for priests at the Christian Rachel Seminary, Rajol. Pioneered and led the Bhagavad Gita course from 2007 to 16 at the prestigious BITS Pilani, Goa campus. Led a pilgrimage to Kailash Mansarovar and authored a much acclaimed travelogue on the Yatra in Hindi. Later, Swamiji had led a team from Delhi to Kailash Mansarovar and also to Badrinath, Kedarnath, Gangotri, and Yamunotri. Last but not the least, you will be happy to know that Swamiji is an ardent Krishna Bhakt. Whenever Swamiji has an opportunity, he tries to visit Mathura and Vrindavan. Swamiji would be talking to us on Real Alone Exists in English. Swamiji, a few words about Chinmaya Mission Gurugram. The mission is being spearheaded by Swami Durgeshananda ji since about 2004, when he was tasked with setting up the mission activities in Gurugram as Brahmachari Navni. The mission has come a long way, and today we are nearing completion of a 5-storied ashram on an 800 square meter plot in Gurugram in South City 2, a premium area. The devotees of Gurugram have been donating generously towards this ashram and a plot of land in Manesar. I now welcome Swamiji for the talk. Hari Om. Swamiji.
Hari Om. Hari Om to one and all. Let me first congratulate each and every person in the organizing team for having thought such a fantastic Gita Gyan Yajna by different Swamis of Chinmaya Mission. And it's also very refreshing as well as heart-touching to know that several devotees are coming forward to sponsor every day of the Yajna. So let me pray for every one of them. May Lord Krishna showers his kripa. May Puja Gurudev bless everyone. Om Shri Krishna Chandra Bhagwan ki jai. Yes. So let us have a 1 minute Sankirtan and then we'll start. Shri Krishna Govinda Hare Murare He Nath Narayana Vasudeva Shri Krishna Govinda Hare Murare He Nath Narayana Vasudeva He Vasudeva He Vasudeva Krishna Chandra Bhagavan ki jai Radhavar Krishna Kanhaiya Lal ki jai. Om Shri Ganeshaya Namah. Om Shri Saraswati Namah. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namah. Om Samasta Jana Kalyani Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahma Vidvaram. Om Satchidananda Rupaya Vishvotpatyadi Hetave Tapatraya Vinashaya Shri Krishnaya Vayam Numaha. Mukam karoti vachalam pangum langhayate girim yat kripa tamaham vande paramananda madhavam. Welcome everyone for this today's session as a series of talks on Bhagavad Gita. And today we have a topic titled Real Alone Exist. Real alone exist. As we all know, Madhusudan Saraswati ji was a great scholar, philosopher, and a great Bhagavan Krishna ji's bhakta. He has composed Gita Dhyanam, few shlokas for Bhagavad Gita as an introduction. In that, it is beautifully put up in one of the shloka. Sarvopanishado gavo dugdha gopala nandanaha partho vatsa sudhir bhokta dugdham gvitamritam mahat. This Bhagavad Gita is the complete essence of Upanishads. Vedanto nama Upanishad Pramanam. So, what is Upanishad? It is absolute Vedanta. Absolute Vedanta. The essence of Vedas is Upanishad. And the essence of all Upanishad is Bhagavad Gita. So, we have such a great treasure with all of us. So, let us start with some small story. It is happened in one small town that there was one family which was famous for something very different. And why? Because all the by tradition, they were maintaining a pedigree of what? Of robbers, as a thief. So, generation after generation, every son of the family turns to be a great thief. And nobody could catch him. And that was their uniqueness. So what happened? Now a young boy who was to introduced in this field of robbery, the father wanted to know that what is the fate of this boy? Because somebody told him that this boy is very different. You have to take care of this boy very much. Otherwise, he will never follow your tradition. So the father, the grandfather, and the grandfather, mother was so much worried that our tradition will not be followed. Oh, our name will be completely so-called as ruined, as a great pedigree of thieves. So he took his, the kundali and showed it to one of the person that is a very brilliant astrologer. He told a very unique thing to the father of this boy. This boy name was Sat-Chit. Sat-Chit. And they were all amazed that how is his name Sat-Chit of a word of a thief? He says, no. This is what it has come because of his that Janmakshara, called as the birth name, and that's why we have to put, because one of our priests said so. And they were so much believers, and that was something, again, a very unique thing. So, priest, that astrologer told, see, you have to be very careful. This boy of yours, whose name is Sat-Chit, so let us keep, his name short, Sat. So his name, who is Sat, let him not attain any satsang. If once only he attains satsang, he will be out of your control and he will be out of your so-called as tradition of the house. Then he warned him to the Sat, his son, don't go and listen to any satsang anywhere. Fine. Once it happened, so the day of first introduction of Sat, that is his son, to the great field of robbery. So, night, dark night it was. And they went to one very close house to the temple. And it started raining. So, father said, let me go to that, tree for a shelter, and you take a shelter of the temple premises. So the boy Sat went to the temple premises, and by his fortune, there was a satsang going on. And he heard only few lines. What he heard, please pay attention. Every action brings papa and punya. Every actions bring papa and punya. Result of punya is sukham. Result of papa, that's called as demerit, is dukkham. And he who troubles someone unnecessarily is papa. He who helps someone without any selfish motive is punya. My God, this he has heard. And top of this, it came a voice that Bhagavan is everywhere and looking at you. What are you doing? The moment this boy Sat heard this, he got absolutely taken aback. He ran to the father and he said, this is what I heard. He says, don't think about it. Forget it. Now you climb the tree and jump from there to the balcony, and then I will instruct you. So he slowly climbed the tree, and the tree was very big. And it happened so that a watchman came. So the father ran away. Now the boy Sat is sitting on the tree. And he has to get into the house to rob the house. The all jewelry and the money, wealth, everything. But the moment came in his life where he has listened a few minutes before something called a satsang. And those only words are hammering now in his mind and intellect. So he says, my God, it is so true that Bhagavan is everywhere. And Bhagavan is looking at me. What am I doing? If I do unnecessarily harm to anyone, cause any disturbance to anyone, it's called as papa. It's called as demerit. And unconditionally, if we help someone, that's called as merit. That means I will be happy. Let us forget this all business. He came down and roared in his house. Now, henceforth, there is nothing called as robbery in my life. There is nothing called as a thief as a label to me or this whole family. Because today I could understand the truth. Truth is so simple. If a thief can understand, we also will definitely understand just by listening to Bhagavad Gita, and we also can grow spiritually, and we also can be devoted to Bhagavan. So, in life, we must understand, we all have a life. And there is no good life or bad life. Please note it. There is nothing called as good life. There is nothing called as bad life given to all of us. It is only a life given to all of us. To make it good is in our hand. To make it worst is also in our hand. So life as such a gift is a beautiful and incomparable gift to the humankind. Only our own right direction in our life will give us a right dasha. Dasha means the state in our life. So Bhagavan says, must know two important aspects of Vedanta as a philosophy and should be able to be lived it practically. What are the two aspects of Vedanta philosophy? One, there is an absolute reality. The absolute reality is changeless. The absolute reality is eternal. The absolute reality is always there and it never can not exist. Whereas the other aspect of the Vedanta philosophy, it says the whole other aspect is, which is called as transactional reality, Vyavaharika Satta. And the first is called as Paramarthika Satta. Vyavaharika Satta is under continuous change. Vyavaharika Satta, transactional reality, is continuously under a change. It is impermanent. It is impermanent. And it is looking, it is appearing rather, it is appearing in a different way and different forms. But if you look at it, it is not like that. That means it has taken a form of illusion. Therefore, one is impermanent, illusory, another is permanent and eternal. So, these two important aspects of life, one must understand for what. So, Bhagavad Gita's simple message, which I could understand and I could derive for me as well as I can spread to the world, is live in joy. Live in joy, not for joy. Live in joy, not for joy. How is it possible? Let us see. So first, we are going to discuss about the Paramarthik Satta, that's called as the one and one reality, which is called as absolute reality and which is eternal in origin. Bhagavan says in the second chapter of Bhagavad Gita, verse number 12, Natvevaham jatunasam Natvevaham jatunasam Natvam neme janadipaha Natvam neme janadipaha Nachaiva na bhavishyamaha Nachaiva na bhavishyamaha Sarve vayamatah param Sarve vayamatah param. The meaning, Natu eva jatu. Natu eva jatu. There was never a time, aham na asam, when I was not there. Bhagavan is telling to Arjuna that there was never a time when I was not there. Natvam, when you were not there, such time was also not there. Naime janadipaha. All these kings, those who are standing in front of you, and you have a great fear that you will kill them, and there will be a great sin. So there was no time when I was not there. There was no time when you were not there. There was never a time when they all kings were not there. Ataf param. After this, na bhavishyamah itina. And there will not be any time when we all will not be there. There will not be any time when we all will not be there. Vayam sarve nityam. That means every one of us is eternal, This is a fantastic message of Bhagavan from the absolute standpoint, where Bhagavan is telling all of us that understand what is our true identity. What is our true identity? He says our true identity is that unique self. Self means Atma Tattva. That Atma Tattva alone remains forever without any change, because the Swarupa of it is Sat. That is called as existence. Swarup of this Atma Tattva is consciousness. That's called as Chit. That is called as Chaitanya. The Swarup of Atma Tattva is Anand. That's called as bliss. So the Swarup of Atma is Sat Chit Anand. Sat is that existence which is changeless. Chit is that consciousness, awareness, Chaitanya, which is always self-effulgent, which is always Jnana Swarupa, a knowing principle. And the bliss aspect, the Ananda aspect of Atma Tattva is infiniteness of it. Everything is in, and it is so infinite that there cannot be any finiteness in it at all. When there is no finiteness, there is no limitedness, because finiteness only brings limitedness, and limitedness brings incompleteness. Incompleteness brings sorrow and delusion. So, this is how one must understand from the standpoint of absolute reality. There is only one and one thing which exists, and that's called as Atma Tattva. That's called as Atma Tattva. How is this Atma Tattva? Nasato vidyate bhavaha, na bhavo vidyate sataha, ubhayorapi drushtuntaha, tvanayos tattva darshibhihi. Asataha bhavaha na vidyate. Asat is non-existence, unreal. So, that which is unreal, asat means unreal, and asataha bhava na vidyate. That means the unreal does not have any existence. Unreal does not have any existence. Na bhavo vidyate sataha. Sataha abhavaha na vidyate. That means sat, the existence, its abhava. That means its absence. Never it can be. So, what can be the statement? Real never cease to exist. Real never cease to exist. But unreal, there is no existence of unreal. Means real alone is. Real alone is. Swamiji, can I have one question? Yes. What is the question? Swamiji, you said real alone is, and unreal has no existence. So, can you please explain now, whatever we interact with, is everything unreal? Good question. So Arjuna also asked this question in his mind, and Bhagavan Krishna ji quickly understood, because he is Antaryami of every one of us. So he said, Arjuna, let me answer you now. So this knowing the reality, that which is absolute, that only one and one that is real exists, and unreal does not have an existence. Let us shift now our attention to the question of the Arjuna and understand what is called as the whole universal, beautiful name, object, and forms. Bhagavan says, O Arjuna, I also understand that there is the world, and there are objects, people, and things around every one of us. But if you have to know anyone, what we should able to do, we should able to know the nature of it. That means Swabhava, we must able to know. If anyone, we have to be friendly, we see how is this person's conduct, how is his behavior, and that's called as Swabhava. Swabhava means nature. So according to the nature of a person, we get along with the people around us. Knowing, yes, this person is good, he has a good nature, then we get along with this person as a friend. So let us now first understand one simple but very practical thing. Whenever we interact with anyone in the world, let us first know its nature. Bhagavan, Arjuna says, what do you mean? Bhagavan says, let me explain you very elaborately. Bhagavan says in the 14th verse, Matra sparsha sukamteya shitoshna sukha dukkadaha agama paino nityaha tam titikshasva bharata. What a beautiful message of Bhagavan for every one of us. Bhagavan says, Arjuna, are you ready to be happy? Oh Lord, what is this question? I'm always, I'm ready to be happy. Bhagavan says, okay, my dear, let me tell you the principle of happiness. Let me tell you the principle of happiness. Arjuna says, Bhagavan, I am extremely eager to know this principle of happiness. So listen, matras sparshastu kaunte. Hey Kaunteya, hey Arjuna, matra sparsha. Matra sparsha means the sense organs and the sense object. What do? They have a natural attraction with each other. They have the natural attraction with each other. So when they interact with each other, like a sense organ coming in contact with sense object, there is something which we understand. What is that? It's called as experience, anubhava. So whenever we have a sense organ coming in contact with sense object, we all get experience. And what are the categories of these experiences? Bhagavan says, Sukha Dukkha, Shita Ushna Adi. Now these are the experiences of life. What are they? Sukha and Dukkha, called as joy and sorrow. These are the experiences of life. Another, heat and cold. These are the experiences of life. And so on, called as pairs of opposite, like labha, alabha, that means gain as well as loss, is also an experience, called as jaya, And parajaya, called as victory and defeat, is also an experience of life. And so on and so forth. So, Puja Gurudev, Swami Chinmayanand Maharaj says beautifully on this context. Let us focus our attention. He says, every experience in our life is to make us better. Every experience in our life is there to make us better and not bitter. Please note it. Every experience for every one of us is to make us better person and not the bitter person. So, let me just complete this quote of Puja Gurudev. He says, every experience of our life is to make us strong and stronger and not weak and weaker. What a great knowledge is put up in simple sentences. So every experience is there for every one of us, whatever is experience, to make us a better person. And that requires a vision. And that vision comes with the right knowledge. So, how every experience can be a better experience? Now Bhagavan says, Tante tikshasva bharata. Arjuna, you have to develop one beautiful art in your life. Bhagavan, now it is little time for me. Please tell me, how can I do something best and grow above my own delusion? Arjuna, Tan titikshasva, develop the art of tolerance. Develop an art of endurance. It's an art. One has to develop it. See, we all have body, mind, and intellect. But everyone's endurance power, tolerance power is different. Why? Because that person has consciously tried his level best or her level best to improve one's own tolerance on body level, mind level, as well as intellectual level. See, now, second important point we are going to emphasize here, Bhagavan says about the experience. When these two sense object and a sense organ come together, there is experience. But do you know what is the nature of the experience? He says that experience is anitya. That experience is anitya, called as unreal. My God, how is it so? Anitya means, now let me just explain little about the Vedantic, this very important aspect. In Vedanta, this unreal is also termed as mithya. This also termed as mithya. When this mithya word comes in the Vedantic literature, sometimes people have a confusion. See, what is called as mithya? What is called as unreal? As we have to understand, it is. Example, if this is a pen, it is there, but it has no its own independent existence. It does not have its independent existence. It is only there because of the name and the form. It is because of name and the form. And both name and the form are impermanent in nature. So what is permanent in this pen? So if this pen is of metal, then the metal is only a permanent thing. The name and the form can go when it breaks up. Yes or no? Yes. So that which is appearing with some form, and because of the form, there is a name given for the transactional reality, then that thing is unreal. That thing is unreal. So once who has understood the nature of the object around every one of us, name and form is impermanent, and that's why it's unreal. What is the substratum of the name and form? What is the substratum of the name and form? The substratum of the name and form is one and one alone. That's called as existence. That's called as existence. Satah abhavaha na asti. Satah abhavaha na asti. Never there is such a time when sat, that is called as existence, is not. Never there is a time. So one must understand, I as an existence always there. I as an existence always there. But name and form which I understand and identify with it is mithya. The name and the form which I identify with it is mithya, is unreal. What is unreal? It is impermanent. It does not have its own existence. Knowing this, now there is a great enlightenment. What is that enlightenment? When we all understand this reality of the world, that all names and form are just an appearances, as that of the waves on the ocean surface. The wave is there big, the wave is small. The wave has foam on it, the wave has bubbles on it. All this is nothing but one and one reality, that's called as water, water and water. But if someone does not understand this reality, that the existence, the substratum of the name and form, like that of this wave, is one and one alone, which is called as the existence, then we get identified with this form and name. And the moment we get identified with this name and form, we get dragged away by the name and form, and the experiences become really real for us. Whereas no experience is real. Why? Now just think for a while, which experience of our life came and did not go away? Which experience, like of experience of joy, came in our life, no doubt, but it is gone. Similarly, the experience of sorrow has come in our life, but that's also gone. That means both joy and sorrow as an experience is what? Is impermanent. They come and they go. Similarly, all other experiences like the great loss as well as great profit, both are impermanent in nature. Because when a profit can turn to be a loss, and when the loss with right effort turn to be a great profit, no one knows. That's why both the experiences are true. Similarly, the victory and defeat is also the same. Knowing this, what one should understand, every experience when it comes, if we develop a tolerance to really experience it and do not react or do not overreact to it, we do not form any impression. And that's how we remain untouched with the experiences of the world. But only one and one who can remain untouched is one who has a great tolerance to experience whatever comes as a situation in life with, Bhagavan says, this is must. What? Samatvam yoga uchyate. With the equanimous mind, we have to understand every experience. With the equanimous mind, we have to understand every experience. If the mind is in a balanced state, then every experience becomes fine. If the mind is disturbed, if the mind is weak, then every experience becomes a problem. And if we don't handle that experience which is problematic in right time, the same experience can turn to be a crisis. Therefore, every experience should be managed at the level of experience and do not let it go and become bigger. And then if it becomes bigger, we only label it as a problem. Actually, it's only a situation. We must know how to handle every situation. That's how, if we develop this confidence to handle the situations in life, we can able to handle the experiences in life with our right tolerance power. Example, now, if somebody is there as a soldier and who goes on a border of our country, like take an example of a Siachen. If a soldier is there and is posted in Siachen border of India, we all know what is Siachen. It's the tough region where the temperature always move from -20 to -40 to 50. So, how much is a tolerance required to do one's own duty? Similarly, Bhagavan says, develop a tolerance and do your duty. Sukha dukhe same krutva labha labho jaya jayo tato yuddhaya yujjasva naivam papamavapsyasi. Arjuna, do your duty with absolute duty conscious mind and understand in duty there is nothing called as reward, because duty itself is a great worship. Duty itself is a great reward. Therefore, having taken up any duty, if some pleasurable experiences they come, you just be fine. If having taken up some duty, if unconducive experiences are coming up, then also you be fine. That means sukha and dukkha, the joy and sorrow. You have to take it into a right spirit. And that spirit we all can understand. A simple spirit called as sportsmanship. What is that? We all know. When we play any game, only two things can happen. One is victory, one is defeat. The player is not there just to win the game or to lose it. The player is there to express one's own potential with complete capacity and express with such a love and care that itself brings a completeness in life. Similarly, every action of ours, if we do it with this attitude, that let me put my 100% potential, with my 100% capacity, with love and care, that is the principle to live a life in joy and not for joy. That is the support, that is a secret to live a life in joy and not for joy. So, if the knowledge does not bring in our life absolute freedom, if the knowledge in our life does not bring the balanced state of the mind, then this knowledge is impractical. This knowledge is not of any use in our life, because if it does not give us that which is a requirement of absolute happiness. Absolute happiness is first our nature. Absolute happiness is our nature. And therefore, we all exist at all the times. There is no time where none of us is not there. Therefore, the fear of losing this so-called as existence is just an illusion, because of the identification with this body, mind, and intellect. If we, at right time, with right knowledge, with right understanding, bring a complete disengagement only on this thought level, that I exist as a universal principle, that is Atma Tattva, which is there everywhere, every time, for every moment of this whole universe. And that's how we should able to grow above all our different non-conducive experiences of life. And the principle is develop that tolerance. Bhagavan, one more question. Arjuna, what is your question? See, if I give up this body, then how do I remain? O Arjuna, Dehinosmin yatha dehi kaumaram yauvanam jara tatha dehantara prapti dhirastatra namuhyati. That person who is a courageous person, and this courage is because of his right understanding of the Vedantic knowledge. What is that knowledge? That existence, which I am, is always permanent. It is eternal. That which is coming and going. That which is coming and going are called as stages of life. As that of the childhood is a stage. Adulthood is a stage. And the old age is a stage. Oh dear Arjuna, all these stages come. All these stages be there. All these stages they go. But you remain witness to every stage. You are changeless. You are permanent. You exist always. Rest, everything is in transactional reality. If everything is in the existence of coming and going alone, in the form of coming and going, which is called as Vyakta, Avyakta, then why should we worry about that which comes and that which goes? Anyway, if it has to come, it will come. Anyway, it has to go, it will go. So let us experience one's own true identity. That identity is real. That identity is changeless. That identity is permanent. Therefore, having understood this knowledge as that of the thief, one who has once listened to the satsang and gave up his so-called as wrong notion of life, that only if I follow this tradition, then only there will be a great happiness in life. No, it's always happiness is not because of something. Happiness is our true nature. Happiness is our true nature. And that one has to experience by developing complete tolerance towards every situation of this whole universe. Every situation is impermanent. Therefore, beautifully it is said, every experience, because of the situation, is there to make us better and not bitter. We must put it in our life. No experience of our life should make us bitter, because bitterness is ignorance. Betterness is knowledge. Smile is knowledge. And keep grumbling for things and situation is ignorance. This knowledge of Vedanta can give us that strength where we understand the reality which is absolute. That absolute reality is our identity. One who has understood this will not have any fear, will not have any insecurity, will not have any sort of question mark in my life or in our life. Now what? Whatever is there anyway. There should not be any question. What is there? What is there is anyway in a continuous flux of change. It is impermanent. So let us focus on our true reality, which is always there and which alone is there. Rest, everything is just an appearance in the name and form. Name and form are there because of me. If I am there, then only they have the existence. If I'm not there, there is no existence of name and form as that of the water of the ocean. Every wave is just because of the water and water. Similarly, everyone, whosoever is here, as in form and name, is because of that own one reality, which is called as Sat Chit Anand. Therefore, real alone exists. Whatever else is anyway mithya, impermanent, unreal. Focus on real, you can manage unreal with smile. Thank you very much for every one of the organizing committee, as well as whosoever attending this satsang. It was a great opportunity to share some of the thoughts from Bhagavad Gita, which we received from our Guru Parampara, and we could able to share with you all. Thank once more. Hari Om, Jai Shri Krishna.
Hari Om Swamiji, thank you for the enlightening talk. I request our secretary, Shri Arnath Chauhan, to formally say a few words of thanks. Over
Thank
to
you, Swamiji. Thank you, Swamiji. I, on behalf of Gurudham Chinmaya Mission, want to wholeheartedly thank you. मतलब ये आप ही कर सकते हैं who can just make this so simple, such a tough Vedantic concept to make it understand through. So we started from a bhakti bhav, from your melodious voice. You started with a bhajan. And then we slowly transformed into the Gyan marg, right? And you started with a small story, which was so simple to understand. And you said, please listen carefully. Every action brings pap or punya. Very clear. Result of punya is sukham. Result of pap is dukham. And then you tell us that if a thief can understand simple thing, why can't you people understand? So this style of yours can only come from you only, Swamiji. It was like a perfect story to start. And then you took us through the whole aspects of Vedanta, absolute reality and transactional reality. And also thereafter, even using a simple thing like a pen, right? Ki bhai, end of the day, it's only the metal which is real. And rest of it, you may give a name and form. So name and form may exist temporarily, but the absolute reality is there to stay. And the example of a wave helped us understand completely the concept. So this was Gyan Yoga. And ultimately, how could you, who is so popular amongst the youngsters and youth, could not have brought up the concept of karma yoga, right? So you ended up with sportsmanship, which is like phenomenal. You said just have an equanimous mind. Situations will come and go. Dukh sukh will come and go. Labh and nuksan will come and go. But you do your duty completely with a true sportsmanship. So thank you so much, Swamiji. I think this was very enlightening to me and to all the viewers. I'd like to thank you, and we would look forward to many more such sessions with you. Thank you, Swamiji, and thank you to the executive committee, to all the viewers. Thank you. See you again tomorrow at the same time. Thank you. Hari Om Swamiji.
Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namah Hari Om.
Hari Om. Thank you. Thank you.